In this true crime documentary, we uncover the shocking case of Mackenzie Lueck.
Everyone is out looking for you around the country, and they all want you to know that we're advocating for you, we're fighting for you, and we're going to bring you home.
My life has been changed due to the selfish, premeditated decision you made on June 17, 2019. Instead of planning my daughter's graduation party, I planned her memorial.
Breaks my heart knowing that she died alone in such a scary place. Tragically, she won't be among the graduates next spring.
Did you meet with her up in Salt Lake that night? No. Okay.
On June 20th, 2019, Greg and Diane Lueck had been consumed with worry for an entire week. Ever since their daughter Mackenzie returned to Salt Lake City, they could not reach her despite the last message she sent, assuring them she had landed safely. Diane only saw that message the following day because after dropping Mackenzie at the airport, she had gone home to Los Angeles completely exhausted. Silence from Mackenzie in the days after travel was not unusual because when she felt heartache, she often withdrew into herself. Her recent trip to her parents' home in Los Angeles had been for the funeral of her grandmother. But a week without contact was too long, and when Diane tried to reach out to her friends, none of them had seen her. Even her colleagues at the lab had no idea where she was. Greg Lueck decided it was time to call the police. He asked for a welfare check.
Yeah, I'd like to get, if possible, have a wellness check done on my daughter. And I've been trying to get a hold of her all week. I was just wondering if I could have somebody maybe go by her house and check on her. Last time we heard from her, she got off the plane coming back from LA. It was 1 a.m. She was going to grab an Uber and go home, but that's the last I've heard from her.
So 1 a.m. this morning?
No, 1 a.m. Monday morning. So we've been trying to get a hold of her all week. Usually it's unlike her to return a call, but it goes straight to voicemails.
After the 911 call, officers drove to Mackenzie's house. This would mark the beginning of one of the darkest cases Salt Lake City had seen. Not only because of the unexplained circumstances, but because the missing woman was only 23 years old and just 2 semesters away from graduating. When police arrived, they found her car sitting in the driveway untouched since her return from California. Inside the apartment, there was no sign of the suitcase she had taken with her on the trip. It was as if she had never come back. There were no signs of forced entry and no disturbance inside. The strangest detail was her cat waiting inside, cared for by her roommate while she was gone. This detail confirmed Mackenzie was supposed to have returned home after her flight. What raised more alarm was her absence from university lectures throughout the week. She had an online midterm due on June 20th before midnight, yet she never logged in. Her workplace at the biological testing lab confirmed she had not returned after the trip either. These details convinced police that Mackenzie had been missing for over a week. Still, as with most disappearances, they leaned on the common belief that 90% of the time, the person vanishes voluntarily. They sent her a message on her phone, but she did not respond. That silence was unsettling. What investigators did not realize was that Diane had already noticed something crucial. The last message Mackenzie sent came through in green, not blue, meaning her phone had been turned off completely, and that was not normal for her. Later that same day, Mackenzie Lueck was officially declared missing. From this moment began a week filled with revelations, a week that would not only shock investigators, but also tear through the heart of her own family. Because in those days, secrets about Mackenzie's life would surface. Secrets they never imagined their daughter carried. While Mackenzie's friends shared videos online pleading with her to answer and promising they would never abandon her, Greg Lueck searched for another way to find her. He checked their shared bank account and discovered something that shook him. On June 10, 2019, Mackenzie had received a $300 transfer from a source he did not recognize. It was not from her lab job. It raised the question of who sent the money and why. The detail seemed small, but it would later become critical. Even stranger to Greg was the fact that his daughter had not asked him for financial help since 2018, not even for her university fees. Greg gave police the information, while one team contacted the airline to confirm if she had boarded her flight. Another began questioning her friends and roommate. The roommate explained that Mackenzie's finances had been surprisingly strong in recent months. She had even bought new furniture for the house. This raised investigators' suspicion about where her income was really coming from. But suspicion soon became something more concrete. The roommate admitted that Mackenzie wanted comfort and independence. She decided to take a job dancing interview at Exotic Kitty, a gentleman's club. which was scheduled for June 20th. Even that, though, could not fully explain the steady transfers into her account. Then a close friend revealed something darker. In 2018, Mackenzie was a victim of sexual assault. She entered therapy, but her life soon began to change. She joined a site called Seeking Arrangement, a place where wealthy men seek out young women offering money and gifts in exchange for companionship. With this revelation, investigators began to see Mackenzie as living in two worlds. One was the dedicated student and social young woman. The other was someone coping with deep wounds, while chasing a very different lifestyle. The same friend confessed he too had been involved with her, though casually. More importantly, he pointed police to a serious, 2-year relationship that had ended only in April 2019. Detectives immediately looked to the ex-boyfriend as a potential suspect, but his reaction surprised them. He denied any contact and said he wanted nothing more to do with her. The coldness in his tone unsettled investigators until he explained his reason. After the breakup, Mackenzie had sent him a video of herself in intimate moments with 2 other men in what seemed like an attempt to provoke him. He responded by blocking her and never spoke to her again. After learning these details about Mackenzie's hidden life, investigators knew they had to move on 2 fronts at the same time. They needed to trace her online activities and confirm her movements after the airport, if she ever even made it there. That question was answered later the same evening when detectives confirmed her name on the passenger list. They also obtained images showing her leaving the airport and stepping into a Lyft ride. That same day, police secured her call and text records. What they discovered became the first solid thread, leading them to the man behind her disappearance. There were 8 text messages sent from Mackenzie's phone to the same number immediately after leaving the airport. At first, detectives assumed this number belonged to her Lyft driver, but records showed a second number had also been contacted twice, and this one belonged to the actual driver. That meant the 8 texts were exchanged with the person she intended to meet. The driver confirmed the missing piece. He had picked her up around 2:59 a.m. and driven her to Hatch Park. Along the ride, she appeared cheerful, even laughing with him about odd passengers he had met before. She joked that she too would count as one of those strange rides, because who goes from an airport to a park at that hour? When they arrived, she stepped out, met a man waiting in a car, and climbed inside. The driver said they greeted each other casually, like 2 people who already knew one another before he drove away. For investigators, this account was crucial. It confirmed the number she texted belonged to the same man who met her at Hatch Park. They also managed to trace the IP address used by that number. Chillingly, it matched the same IP used to access the site Seeking Arrangement. Now the path was clear. All that remained was identifying the man tied to both the phone and the IP. The name was Ayoola Ajayi. Originally from Nigeria, he had come to the United States in 2009 on a student visa. On June 25th, police made contact. Despite his lawyer's advice, Ajayi agreed to speak.
You're not under arrest. You're not being detained. You can leave anytime you want to, okay?
It just doesn't make sense. I want to get to the root of it too.
Yeah.
Because when you said my IP is showing,
Right.
that means something is wrong. So, I have security camera in front of the house, and then I have one inside the house. So that's my baby. Remember, she was with me on that day.
Okay.
So according to the video, she was with me. So I have PTSD and anxiety. I just need to talk to someone whenever I'm alone and I'm freaking out.
So this is the Seeking Arrangement website?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I go through the whole everything. I can't see anyone that matched that profile and that matched that picture.
Okay.
But if you see, you can see most of them are in Seattle, Ogden, everywhere around the world.
Okay.
So I never even try to meet them. I just need someone to talk to whenever I'm freaking out, so to calm down. So even some of them are in Washington, D.C. And one in Logan. So all we just do is to talk. And if I met her from there, I'm positive that I probably don't want to meet her because all this is not revealed to my baby mama, and I don't want her to know about it. So I never meet any of them.
So you're still saying that that's the only text, that's the only messages you got from her, right?
That I can remember. So, but for her to just send me a question mark, so there's a possibility that I've talked to her in the past.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you did this or you were involved in it at all. I'm just saying that someone at your house or someone was using your IP address, that's all.
Yeah.
Just trying to get to the bottom of it.
I would like to do that because I'm freaking out already. I have anxiety and I have PTSD. So That's why I've been calling you, like, please let me help if any way I can help. Even my lawyer don't want me to come here right now.
So earlier you said we could take your phone and download it. Are you still willing to do that or no?
I just need to call my lawyer and see if it's okay. Because I want to help as much as I can.
Sure.
But she's saying that some police just want to pin it on someone, that they can pin it on me.
AJ, the only reason, you can understand if this was your sister or something, or your mom, we'd be working just as hard to find her for you, okay? This family is in that same boat. We just want to do everything we can, and just because you've chatted with her, you've texted back and forth twice or however many times, and it's bouncing off your IP address, we just want to cross every avenue, make sure that people aren't involved, people who are staying with you, people might be parked outside of your house using your Wi-Fi. We just want to make sure.
He told them he had been home with Michelle, his baby mama, who was 8 months pregnant. But if he never met Mackenzie, if so, why did his phone appear on the same site she was using only hours before she vanished? He also claimed he used Seeking Arrangement only to chat. But why then were there messages directly between him and Mackenzie? And why did he seem anxious, repeating that he feared police were trying to frame him? Before the interview ended, detectives seized his phone for examination. The following morning, officers arrived at AJ's home, armed with a search warrant.
I have the search warrant in hand. Can I borrow your phone then to call my lawyer?
The operation stretched on for hours, but two critical moments unfolded that would later shape the entire case. The first came when AJ stepped outside and casually told detectives he was heading to a nearby library. What he did not realize was that an undercover officer was watching him. Instead of going to the library, AJ drove to Smith's grocery, where he entered the bank inside and purchased a prepaid cell phone. Back at the house, word spread quickly through the neighborhood that police were tearing the place apart. Then came a call that changed the direction of the search.
The smell of gas was outrageous. And I thought maybe I was in my bedroom and I smelled it through my window, and I thought maybe it was my motorhome. And so I came outside to make sure, and there's this smell in the air that was just almost rancid. It was just really disgusting smelling.
Cadaver dogs were brought in, where a freshly dug patch of soil caught their attention. Beneath it, they uncovered fragments that made their blood run cold. A human bone, charred muscle tissue, part of a scalp with hair still attached, and a burnt cell phone were found. Almost at the same time, AJ returned home to find police waiting. They seized the new phone from his pocket and added it to the growing pile of evidence collected inside. What they uncovered painted a scene darker than anyone had imagined. There were multiple knives, a hammer, a firearm, electronics including phones, computers, and a router, all taken for forensic testing, clothing stained with bleach and dark marks, a shower curtain marked with the same. In his car, they found soil and plant debris consistent with a disturbed patch in his backyard and a red gas can. Investigators traced his movements in the days following Mackenzie's disappearance. Records showed he had purchased that same gas can on the second day after she went missing.
I just told you that your phone records and the location put you up at the meet. Do you think, honestly, and expect me to believe that you ended that conversation and somehow you and her location end up in the exact same spot?
Oh, I'm not doubting you. If I see that too, if I'm in your case, I would be asking myself, what are you asking me right now?
It's not a miraculous question.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
Stuff doesn't just happen.
No.
Yes, I agree with you.
I'm telling you to explain that. And so far, you have not.
Well, how do I explain something I don't know?
Are you saying you don't know or you don't remember? Because those are two different things, AJ.
When questioned, AJ admitted to using Seeking Arrangement and confirmed exchanging messages with Mackenzie, but he denied ever meeting her. He insisted he was at home on June 16th and 17th. He said he burned a fire in his yard, but only briefly before a neighbor told him it was against pollution restrictions. He claimed the stained clothes were his own. The soil in his car, he said, came from planting 20 flowers, and the blood that might appear in his garage fridge he explained as remnants from slaughtering goats for food, though he insisted it had been a long time since he last did so. But what police found buried outside was not the remains of livestock. It was unmistakably human. AJ's fire had not been for garbage. It had been for erasing evidence. AJ was released after questioning and went to stay at a friend's home while forensic tests were pending. But freedom would not last. Though Hatch Park itself had no surveillance cameras, the streets outside did. Footage showed his Kaya heading toward the park at 2:48 a.m. Minutes later, the white lift car left at 2:59. 10 seconds after that, AJ's Kaya drove away again, this time with Mackenzie inside. With this evidence in hand, detectives finally had enough. The walls were closing in on Ayoola Ajayi.
AJ, you're being a little bit unreasonable, dude. I'm a man, you're a man, we're grown men.
If you want to arrest me, I would come down. And you can arrest me. I will be there. I can see your car. I would come down.
Okay, come on down then.
You're not trying to... You're trying to arrest me.
Will you come down, please?
No, only if you tell me that you want to arrest me, then
I'm not arresting you. No, I'm not.
No.
I am not. You just come down.
If you're not trying to arrest me, then I don't want to talk to you.
If I'm not trying to arrest you, then you don't want to talk to me?
Yes.
What if I was trying to arrest you? Do you want to come down and talk to me?
Sure.
Okay, I'm trying to arrest you. Come down and talk to me.
You have your arrest warrant with you?
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
As the news spread about the arrest of Ayoola Ajayi, it was not only the capture of the men accused, but also the sudden exposure of Mackenzie Lueck's secret life that shook the public. Friends stepped forward determined to reclaim her story so the world would remember her as more than headlines. Mackenzie was born on March 8, 1996 in El Segundo, a coastal suburb near Los Angeles, California. She was the second of 4 siblings and the only daughter of Greg and Diane Lueck. In high school, she was full of energy competing on the swim team and the water polo squad, while also helping to establish a breast cancer awareness club. When she moved on to the University of Utah, she joined the sorority Alpha Chi Omega, where she quickly became known for her presence and leadership. She threw herself into charitable projects, especially those aimed at raising awareness and prevention of domestic violence. Her Facebook page reflected her commitment to women's rights, often celebrating milestones like the anniversary of women gaining the right to vote. Her friends described her as positive, supportive, and magnetic. She had a gift for building bonds and making others feel seen. Academically, she studied pre-nursing and kinesiology with the dream of entering medical or nursing school. Her father worked in healthcare logistics and administration, helped inspire her focus on medicine from an early age. Though raised in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, she was not deeply traditional and enjoyed social nights out with friends. But in 2018, her world shifted. Closer to her disappearance, she revealed to her family that she was bisexual, though no close friends recalled her being in a relationship with women. She was open and warm, yet still searching for independence, in ways that sometimes seemed mysterious. While her friends fought to preserve her memory, investigators pressed forward with evidence. Forensic testing confirmed that samples taken from AJ's home matched Mackenzie, but without a body, the case would remain incomplete. Detectives turned again to his phone. Data revealed that on June 25, 2019, he had traveled to a remote area called Logan Canyon, about an hour and 20 minutes from Salt Lake City. Search teams were dispatched, and on July 2nd, they began combing the rugged landscape. By noon on July 3, they made the discovery that ended any remaining hope. Beneath a shallow grave, crudely covered with branches, lay Mackenzie's remains. Her body had been partially burned and hastily buried. Her hands were bound with zip ties. Evidence of blunt force trauma to the head confirmed she had endured violence before the end. The discovery closed the chapter on her disappearance and transformed it into a confirmed case of deliberate destruction. On July 10th, prosecutors charged Ayoola Ajayi with aggravated homicide, aggravated kidnapping, obstruction of justice, and desecration of human remains. What he did to Mackenzie Lueck was both calculated and chilling in its simplicity. They had connected through seeking arrangement months earlier and agreed to meet when she returned from California. She asked her Lyft driver to drop her at Hatch Park in the middle of the night. AJ picked her up there and drove her to his house. According to the evidence, he bound her wrists with plastic ties and pressed his hands around her throat. When that failed, he tightened a belt and struck her head with force. The autopsy confirmed that it was the blow to her skull that ended her life. On June 17th, he tried to burn her body in his backyard, but a neighbor questioned the smell and forced him to stop. Instead, he buried her there and tossed her belongings into the Jordan River, where search teams later recovered her student ID and clothing scorched by fire. Police first searched his home on June 24th. The next day, Ajay dug up her body and carried it to Logan Canyon, hoping it would never be found. but his digital trail betrayed him. Before bringing her to his house, he had turned off all his home security cameras. When he moved her remains to the canyon, the cameras were again disconnected during the exact hours his phone was tracked there. He even tried to rid himself of his mattress by selling it online. The woman who purchased it later recognized him from the news as the man accused in Mackenzie's disappearance. Detectives also discovered disturbing files on his electronics and learned of a previous assault in March 2018, when AJ allegedly invited a woman to dinner, then attacked her while they watched television. Prosecutors filed 19 charges of exploitation, but those charges were dismissed in October 2020. Still, the case against him for Mackenzie was overwhelming. AJ pleaded guilty to first-degree aggravated homicide and third-degree desecration of human remains. In exchange, prosecutors removed the death penalty from the table. Instead, he was sentenced to life in prison without parole. He also received an additional term of up to 15 years for the 2018 assault connected to a Tinder meeting. In the end, Mackenzie Lueck's life was not only the story of a university student who vanished in the night. It was the story of a young woman filled with ambition, love, and resilience, whose dreams were shattered before they could unfold. She was a devoted daughter, a cherished sister, and a loyal friend whose warmth left an imprint on everyone she met. Her smile carried a light of its own, and her determination revealed a spirit that refused to break despite hardship. Her life was taken too soon in a tragic way, but her memory remains with those who loved her as a symbol of kindness, strength, and beauty that cannot be erased. Yet as the case closed and the courtroom emptied, one question still echoed quietly in the minds of many. Why did her path have to cross with his at all? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime documentaries. See you in the next video.